Welcome to another Sports Scene Live from the Tilted Kilt. It was Black Friday, a little early. All three Ascension Parish teams lost in round 2 of the playoffs. We'll talk to 3 coaches. We'll also talk to a very special guest, and we'll have Pete's Picks. All that coming up on this edition of Sports Scene Live.
Whether you're hurt by a dump truck or a garbage truck or any kind of commercial vehicle, you may have a big case worth big money. And these are some of the big results I fought to get my clients. Just call me. Get it done.
Call 888-8888.
Do you have car problems? The next time you need your automobile towed, make it easy. Just call Two Ace Towing. They offer the most affordable rates in Ascension Parish. For 24-hour towing, call 675-8357. Diaz Tire and Auto Repair invites you to shop with them in Gonzales and the Highway 42 Prairieville location. Bring your school ID and get $5 off oil, lube, and filter. Diaz Tire, Airline Highway Gonzales, and Highway 42 Prairieville.
Whatever your car is doing, we'll check it out and fix it right.
Amco Transmissions on Coursey Boulevard in Baton Rouge, 752-0081.
AA MCO.
A&M Heating and Air Conditioning has been locally owned and operated by Tony Arsenault since 1988. They have an honest reputation based on sound advice and great service. Call A&M Heating and Air Conditioning today for all of your service needs. Bertrand's Pharmacy has been providing personal medication counseling for over 30 years. Andy and Jeannie Bertrand, registered pharmacists, honor many prescription plans. Bertrand's is open Monday through Saturday. Phone 644-5641. Got computer problems? Does your computer have a virus? Give us a shot at fixing your computer. Pico Computers has years of experience. Pico will have you up and running in no time. Call today, 647-8882. Tilted Kilt is food, friends, beer, sports, and fun, awaiting you at Gonzales' newest sports pub near Cabela's. Check out the food and views at Tilted Kilt. Hearty meals like sirloin and cheesesteak salad. The Tilted Kilt, home of the Sports Scene Live TV show, Sundays at 3 p.m. Come be a part of the fun.
Welcome back to the Tilted Kilt, ready to talk some football with Santa Maria head coach David Oliver. Coach O, a losing game of 35-28. And that doesn't even nearly tell you the story. They're 10-2 on the year, but this game, 15 points in the fourth quarter, and then it got away from you. It's unbelievable. 4 plays of 60 yards or more.
It did. First I just was real proud of our kids. I don't question their heart or their fight or their toughness because they laid it on the line. They played hard. I thought Airline came in, had a tremendous game plan. They had all the little bells and whistles. The trick play to start the game was an 80-yard touchdown, and then they had a few other little wrinkles that just told me they were well coached, like a shift on punt formation at a 4th and 2, on a situation where they would have had to punt, where they drew a first down, and we got down 28-13, and we battled back, got a touchdown, we got a hold, we got another touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and the crowd went nuts. It was 28-28, and we extended their first series of downs with a penalty that I didn't think was a very good call, but that's neither here nor there. And then on the next series of downs, they went over the top again for a huge long touchdown pass, and we drove it down in their territory and just couldn't convert on 4th down. It was an exciting game.
They hit on that first play of the game 80 yards, as you mentioned. Then they came back with an onside kick.
Yeah, they actually tried 3 different onside kicks. They were going for it with everything they had in them, and like I said, they had a good game plan. You got to give them a lot of credit. I thought our plan was mostly good. You always want to go back and think you could change a thing or two here, but the kids executed it mostly well. And we just, at the end of the day, they made one more play than we did.
And when you look back at the 4 big plays, 80, one was 77, a couple of over 60. Any one of those plays, if they don't make it, you win the ball game.
Yeah, that 14 for them, I knew that guy was. He's a Southern Miss commit, and I mentioned on the show last week that he's going to be the fastest kid on the field for either team. And, he scored the 80-yarder, and then he ran a little jet sweep where, he stepped through a tackle and was about 75 yards. And then he caught another touchdown pass off a little rub route, pick rub, whatever they want to call them. Everyone runs it. And,
that's McGee, by the way.
Yeah, and so he had a great game. They were forcing us to throw the ball, and I thought Halen Miller and Grant Alexander really showed up well. He had a huge game and a huge season, and like I said, when it got down to it, it was not one play that made the difference. It was just we didn't make enough plays to win the game.
Well, now you look back at this year, and a year from now, 2 years from now, whatever, and you look back at 10-2, you got to be pretty excited about that kind of a season.
It was, and I think that nobody, expected a lot from these kids. So I think it had to be special for them to go out and win the school's first district title since 2002. And also, this was the first time in school history that playoff games been won 3 consecutive years. So, those are the things that I think they'll look forward to. And I think they played very competitive football. We lost 2 games by 7 points. We lost to a good Dutchtown team and a good Airline team. So everyone else on our schedule we were able to beat. So that speaks volumes of how our kids compete.
Every year we talk about senior leadership on football teams, and you lost so many seniors a year ago. In fact, your defense only had 1 returning starter coming back. And then this year, your seniors, the new seniors, stepped up, and they really had a leadership role.
They did. This year's group, last year we were undefeated JV, so I don't know if that tells you a whole lot, but it makes you feel better that you got some guys that can at least do it on Wednesday night, and then they got to show they can do it on Friday night. And this group, has done that, and they did a great job of that. The leadership was there, the depth was there, and now, we say goodbye to these 32 seniors, and right now we're sitting at 40 juniors who lost one. We only lost 1 JV game at Catholic, 23-21. So if that's a good sign, maybe it is. I don't know if there's a huge correlation, but again, we feel like we got a bunch of Wednesday night players that are ready to go Friday nights. They just have to prove they can do it. So it'll be the same kind of season for us again.
I've got to think that it filters down like that. I mean, if I'm a sophomore and I see a senior, how he handles himself, and then I'm a junior and I see how that senior group handles themselves. Now I'm a senior. It's kind of like next man up, and I'm the next man up. It's my time.
I think so. I think there's no doubt about that. And then when the expectation is that you expect success and you're going to earn success on a year-round basis in the weight room and in the off season and spring practice and in fall camp, and when you go out and earn it at practice, I think there's a mindset of expecting success that our kids are starting to get.
That's my next question. You almost got into it. There's what do you do now the season's over and you start preparing for next year already, don't you?
Yeah, so you collect the equipment, you inventory it, you send it off for reconditioning, you meet with the coaches, and you meet with the players and kind of tell them where they fit for next year, and then you make your plan for. We plan for the entire year, all the way to the Superdome for next year, so that families and coaches know when their free time is and how to plan. And so we'll put that plan together, and some early January, we'll do a lot of maintenance lift until then, but early January we'll come back in and go after it full tilt again. So
the season being 10-2 and getting to the playoffs, the second round is exciting, and I know the bar keeps getting raised. So next year you're looking to win a district. To get in the playoffs again and maybe even go a little further. That's kind of the coach's goals, aren't they? They're going over.
No doubt. And I thought that that we play the same schedule next year. Obviously some of those games flip, and you look at Dutchtown's a team on the rise, EA's a team on the rise, Catholic is always a tough team in our district, and then we got St. James and Letcher, which I thought did a good job of preparing us for the playoffs. So it's going to be another challenging year, and it's going to depend on what everyone else has, but we're going to do our part to get back to where we are.
What do you work on, like in spring practice comes along? What will you try to work on there?
Well, I tell you, our coaches do a great job of, clinicking and visiting with other staffs and going to get some information. And, spring's a time to put in our base stuff and try some new things to see if maybe there's something else that will fit the personnel that we got on the team. You know what? Maybe we got some super running backs that are better than Cade Nelson. You never know.
When I was in high school and spring practice came along, they had me run a tailback position. We'd never run a single wing, never had run anything like that. Had me a tailback. That lasted about 3 days, and they decided, no, I think we'll go back to the team.
Yeah, no doubt.
You find out what you can't do too, right?
Yeah, and a big thing we do is we review the last season and see some things we struggled with. And, I know one of the things that we're going to look hard at is a plan to beat, cover zero when they just go down without a safety, and look at our package that we had some success with and see how do we get better at this phase of the game. So there's always something to improve on. There's always something at the end when you look at the data that's going to tell you this needs improvement, and we'll go scratch where it itches.
Well, all right. We wish you the best of luck. We look forward to talking to you again next year, and hopefully it'll continue this trend that you have of winning 10 games a year. Maybe it'll get to be 11 next year or 12.
You can only hope.
All right. We'll be back after the Player of the Week. Tyson Coward, and he will be presented this plaque presented by Galvez Seafood Company. Let me suggest the seafood medley. It's great there. And Sports Scene Magazine would like to present this plaque to Tyson. Our plaque sponsor is Casa Maria Mexican Grill. Congratulations on being Player of the Week.
Thank you very much. It's actually a great honor to receive this. It's week 11. We had a big team win in double overtime this past week, and I just want to thank my teammates, my family, my friends, and most importantly, my coaches for helping us get in the right position to actually come out with a win, be able to continue to week 12 and hopefully even further on.
That was exciting. You had a lead, got it away from you, but then you got it back when you got into the overtime.
Yes, sir. We ended up having a big stop in the second overtime, and then we know if we held them to a field goal that our offense would be able to score with a touchdown and we'd come out with a win.
You're a free safety. Talk about some of the responsibilities you have there.
Our biggest thing that Coach always emphasizes is always to make sure we don't get beat over the top. And if we do get beat over the top, always make sure that we can live to fight another down and making tackles so we can always come up with a stop, whether it's in the goal line or end zone, but it always ends up coming out in our favor when we come and make up a big stop.
What's some of the major keys you have that you look for when the ball is snapped?
The biggest thing for us is always reading. They call it the triangle. So we read from our nearest wide receiver to the guard to the quarterback. So we can read run lane, and then from the run lane we can see and know from film study what play they're about to run.
There's a lot more to football than people think. See, congratulations again on being our Player of the Week.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Tyson Coward, free safety, Sanama.
Galvez Seafood, now serving our popular boiled crawfish. Check out our daily lunch and dinner specials. We have something for everyone. Join us for steak night on Thursdays, or sink your teeth into our $5 burger and dollar draft special every Saturday for lunch. Book our private room for your next party or meeting, or let us cater your next function. Locally owned and operated, we pride ourselves on homemade. If you haven't already, come check us out. Galvez Seafood, Highway 42 in Prairieville. Your custom-built dream home is more affordable than ever at Roland Homes. Quality comes first on all our modular and manufactured homes. Roland Homes has a huge inventory in many styles and floor plans. And if we don't have it, we'll custom build it, so you'll find the right home to fit your lifestyle and your budget. New or pre-owned, financing is available. Plus, home improvement and repairs are even easier with Roland Homes parts and accessories now on site for your convenience. All at one location to better serve you. Roland Homes in Prairieville.
Big O Tires is now open in Sanama. They offer tires, alignments, brakes, and oil changes. If it's got tires, we've got you covered. Stuck on the road? Call their 24/7 roadside assistance number, 445-3635. Big O Tires in Sanama.
They swarm, they nest, they will destroy your home.
Eliminate the colony and eliminate termites for good.
We're one of the area's largest volume leaders in Centricon installations. Call the original Salvant. Call the Bug Man.
923-BUGS.
Automotive repairs? We've got you covered. Tyrus Total Automotive in Prairieville and Sanama Muffler and Brake Service. See us for CV shaft work, brakes, tune-ups, air conditioner, tires, and diagnostics. Wherever you are in Ascension Parish, visit one of Tyrus' convenient locations. Bro Welding and Industrial Supply prides themselves on same-day delivery. Customer service is our #1 priority. They deliver on time, every time. Bro Company, serving the area for over 30 years. On the web at broco.com. See Foti Financial Services for all your money needs. They have loans for any worthwhile purpose. Auto, furniture, appliance, home improvement, and vacation loans. Celebrating over 50 years of service, Foti Financial Services. Outmuscle the outdoors with a Kawasaki Brute Force 300 featuring sporty performance and agile handling, or try the Brute Force 750 with twin-engine digital fuel injection and automatic transmission, available at Lightspeed Motorsports. Got computer problems? Does your computer have a virus? Give us a shot at fixing your computer. Piku Computers has years of experience. Piku will have you up and running in no time. Call today, 647-8882. Tilted Kilt is Gonzalez's newest sports venue. You'll find refreshing new food choices with appetizers like loaded tater tots, pub nachos, bacon cheeseburger sliders, and beer battered onion rings. Check out the food and views at the Tilted Kilt near Cabela's, home of the Sports Scene Live TV show, Sundays at 3 p.m.
Welcome back, Tilted Kilt. Once again, we've got Darnell Lee, head coach at EA. Whew, man, what a game. 34-26. Had a 14-0 lead early. I think this game, time just ran out, but maybe you can comment about that.
Yeah, we had opportunities. Live Oak did a great job. Had a great game plan for us, and we just didn't play well enough to win.
Live Oak was the winning team with only one pass in the game. All they did was just run. And I'm surprised because your defensive line is all year long has stopped the run.
Right. They did a little unbalance on us and gave us some issues with the back end. But you can't take anything away from them. I mean, they're hot right now. They're playing very physical up front. They made us do some things that were uncharacteristic for us. But overall, I mean, we had our chances.
Just like St. Amant lost with 4 big plays against them, you had 3 big plays against Live Oak. You had Jamel London scored 80 yards. He does that every game, it seems like, but this was on a fumble recovery. You had Massey run for 67, and then you had Shavon Robinson, an 81-yard touchdown pass. So you had the big plays in this game.
Yes, sir, but we just didn't sustain drives the way we needed to, and we didn't get off the field on defense. You can't allow it. Anytime you play an option team in which they were a triple option, you can't, your possessions will be limited, so you can't afford to go 3 and out and have your defense out there for 70 plays.
Yeah, they had 383 yards rushing, 1 pass attempt. That was it. Now, defensively, when you're not going to see a pass, you would stack it up, but they were still able to make the blocks.
Yeah, we had some injuries. Our strong safety tore his ACL the first quarter.
Oh.
And Avery Johnson, then we had to bring a guy off the bench, which made it hard to make the normal adjustments.
He's your leading tackler.
He's our more physical guy. And, that's no excuse. Our job to prepare the next man up.
Or Adrian, his twin brother is the tackler, but Avery is the safety. Yeah,
yes, sir.
That's right.
And, we had chances to get off the field. We get a offsides penalty on a guy off the bench, relieving a starter. And they're in scoring, they're in a red zone. We give them a first down on 3rd and 5, and you just can't do that in the playoffs.
34-26 the final. But what a year, 9-3. And you turned things around at midseason last year, maintained that all the way through this year. You got to be pretty excited about how your players have responded to your coaching and to your techniques and buying into your program.
Yes, sir. We still have a long way to go. We have some great young players coming up, but hats off to our seniors who bought in and gave it their all, and we were able to make the second round. I feel like it was an early exit for what we were capable of. But that's been our ideal all year, just inconsistency. But, for the most part, it was a pretty good year.
The highlight of the year, of course, every year is the district play, and you guys were able to knock out Catholic, which I was excited about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep, it was. And that, like I said before, that was our seniors' first time beating them, so that was special for them.
Yeah, that was. The what do you do now in the off season now that the season has been concluded? What's the game plan now for you?
We're still trying to build the culture. Had to fight a little bit of it this year. Just building consistency. You got to be consistent. You have to sustain drives offensively. We had a few off the field deals which you always have in high school. We like to clean that up, and we're trying to. It's becoming great young men before great football players, and so when guys buy into that, the football part is easy. That's been what we've been working with, and our kids have been, overall, for the most part, pretty good with that. But there's a lot more we can do to be better as a staff to build that culture that I'm looking for. And I still may need to bring a couple of coaches in, but until we get it where we want it, we got to do what we have to do to get better.
You've coached at a lot of levels. You've played at a lot of levels. I guess you have to draw on your own experience, but then again, you've got to be able to look at a player and know what's best to bring out of him. Sometimes you got to be in his face, yelling at him. Sometimes you got to pat him on the back.
Yes, sir.
That's the hard part, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a temperance. You have to have it. My philosophy is, if a kid makes a mistake, you coach him up on it, and you take your emotions out of it when things start going downhill. You just focus on fundamentals. one of the toughest things to do nowadays is to build a strong staff, and I think we got a good start. You know, we got some good guys, we got some young guys, and we should get better, you know, every year.
And you lost some players. You lost Ralph Williams right at the beginning of the year. You're starting running back. Massey certainly was also kind of a 1A starter, but he wasn't 100% either.
No, his first full speed game was Santa Mar. We didn't use him as much, but you know, just watching him against Live Oak, you can kind of see what he's capable of in the playoffs. You know, Live Oak and East Jeff, a couple of long runs, real north and south back, got some moves with him, has good speed. So that has us excited about the off season.
I was looking back at your lineup and everything, and what you have coming back and so on. You've got some players. I guess every year you're going to lose some players, but I didn't realize that Stanford Knockham was a junior. He's going to be back with you next year.
Stanford
He'll
Knockham,
anchor that defensive line.
Yes, sir. Stanford, Deshaun Hall, Jaquan Mitchell. Those guys are playmakers, you know, and you know and Derek Smith also. Derek Smith was a starter, you know. And we got a good core to build around.
No doubt about that. And that's we talk about this with the other coaches about senior leadership. Those guys have seen what the seniors did this year and the year before, and now it's their turn to be seniors, and you kind of lean on them to be the leaders.
Yes, sir. We should have about 30. We should have right at 31 seniors next year. So, you know, and then the following class is about 45 in there. You probably lose 5 to attrition, but you know, so we should be where we need to be. Just a matter of hitting off season and getting the work in and preparing for the spring.
I remember doing some play-by-play in Georgia when Forest Park was the powerhouse in Atlanta, and they had to play a team from South Georgia. I can't even think of the name of the team, Americus or whatever it was, and I went on the air saying that there's no way that team could hold up against Forest Park. They showed up. They must have had 100 players on that sideline, and by the end of the game, I think the 100th player was playing in the game and still beating them. So if you have enough players, you can. A lot of players, it helps you a lot.
We like to build depth, and that was one of our deals this year. You know, you lose a Ralph, and you have Nick Massey. You lose Nick, and Thomas Levy, who's a good athlete, can step up. Jamel comes in and gives you a boost, and you know we have a guy who Kel Babin as a freshman, you know, dressed out and returned kicks with us this year. It's gonna be a good little running back. Evan Copeland's back. We have C.J. Street's back. So we had probably 8 or 9 running backs we developed because we had to move guys from fullback and find out they can play. That's just one of the benefits of having athletes.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate for the guys that get hurt, but the next man up is important, and that's what you've developed is that next man up attitude. Well, we wish you the best of luck in the off season, and hopefully next year we'll be back again and have another exciting Ascension Parish football with East Ascension, because all 3 schools made it to the playoffs. All 3 schools won their opening round of the playoffs. Unfortunately, all 3 lost in the round 2, but it's been exciting football this year all the way around.
Yep, it was fun to watch.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll be back after our Player of the Week. Sports Scene Magazine, along with Galvez Seafood Company, our corporate sponsor, would like to present this plaque to Adrian Johnson, number 4, linebacker for the East Ascension Spartans. And our plaque sponsor is Pot and Paddle Jambalaya Kitchen. Congratulations on being our Player of the Week.
Thank you. I'd like to thank my coaches for putting me in the right position and my teammates for being behind me.
All right, let me ask you a couple of real quick questions here. First of all, you've got a twin brother that plays in the secondary for you, and today's your birthday, so who's the oldest?
Well, I'm the oldest by 2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay. Just checking it out, making sure. You're the leading tackler on this football team, and it's known for its defense. You got to be pretty proud about that.
Yes, sir, I am. I take pride to my defense because we work hard every day at practice.
You guys are getting ready to practice now, and I know you want to get back out there with them. Talk about this, the playoffs now. You're in the playoffs, and things are really looking good, but each game is a whole new challenge.
Yes, sir. Like Live Oak, they're very physical, so we have to be ready to take them on.
What are some of your assignments and some of your keys that you look for when the ball is snapped?
I read my keys first. My key is my guard. Wherever he goes, I go. Then from there on, whoever has the ball, I go get him.
Just go wherever he goes, right?
Yes, sir.
How about pass rush or blitz or anything like that? Do you do some of that?
Yes, sir.
And that's called before when you line up, you know you're going to be going, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, talk a little bit about this football team, how you've seen it grow and develop under Darnell Lee. Head Coach Lee has really molded y'all into a winning combination.
When Cooley came, everybody got closer, and we all became a family. We just been doing good for the past 2 years ever since he came.
Y'all are doing great, and hopefully we keep it going.
Yes, sir. That's the plan.
Number 4, defensive linebacker Adrian Johnson, Player of the Week from EA.
Marshawn's Interior and Hardware Specialist. You got it made.
Come into our showroom and let our experts guide you through our large selection of today's latest trends. Marshawn's flooring and countertop collections offer these styles with unbelievable prices. And at Marshawn's, we install it all. Come in to see all of the promotions and specials going on now.
With Marshawn's Interior and Hardware Specialist, you got it made.
Galvez Seafood, now serving our popular boiled crawfish. Check out our daily lunch and dinner specials. We have something for everyone. Join us for steak night on Thursdays, or sink your teeth into our $5 burger and dollar draft special every Saturday for lunch. Book our private room for your next party or meeting, or let us cater your next function. Locally owned and operated, we pride ourselves on homemade. If you haven't already, come check us out. Galvez Seafood, Highway 42 in Prairieville.
Bear Steel Incorporated, Gonzales and Baton Rouge, offers structural steel fabrication. Bear Steel is a proud supporter of all high school sports in this area. Phone 644-5316 or 291-2144. Selling your home? Rick Gotro with Realty Executives in Prairieville can do a comparative market analysis to properly value your home before it goes on the market. Call Ricky today, 715-7256.
Pedrine's Portable Buildings invites you to visit their new location on the Airline Highway in Prairieville. Pedrine's offers free estimates, free delivery in surrounding areas, and setup. We do workshops, outdoor kitchens, even snowball stands. Pedrine's Portable Buildings.
It's hurricane season. Rescom Electric installs Generac generators for residential and commercial customers. Keep your family and business safe. Call Rescom Electric today for your Generac generator, 622-3647.
BNC Electric in Gonzales and Baton Rouge has starters, alternators, generators, and batteries for autos, trucks, marine, tractors, forklifts, and heavy equipment in stock. BNC Electric, starter and alternator headquarters, serving Gonzales and Baton Rouge. Got computer problems? Does your computer have a virus? Give us a shot at fixing your computer. Pico Computers has years of experience. Pico will have you up and running in no time. Call today, 647-8882. For sports, food, and fun, it's the Tilted Kilt in Gonzales. All sports fans will enjoy entree choices like beer-battered fish and chips, grilled pork chops, smothered chicken, and more. Check out the food and views at Tilted Kilt near Cabela's Parkway, and come be a part of the Sports Scene Live TV show Sundays at 3 p.m.
Welcome back to the Tilted Kilt, everyone. Ready to talk some Dutchtown football with Tim Lala, the defensive coordinator. The head coach Guy Mistretta had another assignment to go to and wasn't able to make it today. We appreciate you filling in.
Well, thank y'all for having us.
Well, it was a really good season when you look back at the beginning of the year, how it started out, and you go 7-5 for the season. That's the work of the season. You got to look back at it and say we did a pretty good job.
I think so. And even within that, there are some times where you think of, maybe a ball bounces a different way here and there. That it could have been even better, but obviously throughout the course of a season.
One more yard against Covington, that type of thing.
Right, yeah, 18 inches,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the kids just worked hard, fought till the end. Obviously, first round playoff, we had to come back and win, and just time and time again, we got fight, looked at some adverse situations and powered through it.
We were at another game, and we heard the score on the PA announcer saying it was 14-7 Dutchtown early, and it was like, whoa, what's going on here? You guys had to be pretty excited there early.
We knew that going in that it was going to be a tough game. That we really executed the game plan to perfection right off the bat. Got some big stops early on. Got the ball in our offense's hand in some really good situations, and we're able to capitalize. So getting up on them early and taking advantage of those situations were what we were looking to do, and it put us in a good situation early without a doubt.
It was tough running against West Monroe, though, right?
Sure was. Their front seven, we knew going in was going to be something that we had to really fight to do and fight to match their level of physicality, really on both sides of the ball. And I think at the end of the day, as the game wore on, that was kind of our undoing.
What's your evaluation of Slade Bolden, their quarterback, who's committed to Alabama, by the way?
He is a good football player. I remember watching him in the Dome last year against Landry Walker, and he really kind of single-handedly kept him in that ball game until he got injured. And then kind of watching him on film, you can tell that they ran their offense through him in a lot of ways. And, Friday night was no exception. I think we were able to hold him in check, obviously, early on, like we talked about. But as we started to wear down a little bit, he didn't need a whole lot of room to
third quarter was
be able
the
to
big
make it happen,
right?
without a doubt.
Yeah. The West Monroe, by the way, 12-0 on the season. You've come up with a quarterback though. You had a guy get hurt, Ben Mays, and you had to use two guys. One was more of a wildcat with Noah Gray.
Sure.
But this Draylen Monroe, you may have found another quarterback to step up and develop.
Man, he came in, and right off the bat in the Catholic game when Ben got injured, he did some things really well for us. And then when we were able to kind of settle in with him as our quarterback, as our starting quarterback, we couldn't ask for anything more out of him. I mean, winning 2 games with him as the starter and being able to spot in Noah a little bit as well as the senior guy, that added a little bit of diversity to some of our packages. But those 2 guys stepped in the absence of Ben, who's just a fantastic quarterback, fantastic young man. Really allowed us to end the season on a really high note.
Your first year with the program, with Guy Mistretta, his first year as well, you had some guys step up, but you had some good senior leadership this year. Will that carry over to, say, like Monroe, who's a junior?
Sure. And that's coming in, when you're trying to instill your program. Senior buy-in is one of the biggest things that you've got to get in order to be able to have success in that first year. And from day one, they were locked in. They did everything that you asked them to do, and that trickled down to the lower classes, and they set the standard for the new senior class coming up in that regard, and that's something that we're certainly using to trying to ride that momentum a little bit.
You're a defensive coordinator. Give us some background on what you like to do as a defense. You like the 3-man front, the 4-man front. What kind of defenses do you like to run, and then how you adjust those during the course
Sure,
of the game?
and we were pretty multiple this year in the amount of different fronts we could get into and those types of things. My background, my first year coaching, we were in 4-man front, and then Anthony Camp came into Catholic when I was assisting him, and kind of that Parkview style 3-3. I was able to be well schooled in that. That's what I'd run every year leading up to this year. And then we were able to kind of take some of the things that Dutchtown had done in the past, as well as some things that I had researched and was trying to implement into my system. And, so we were very multiple, but, up until this year, it's been a lot of 3-down stuff.
There's a lot of learning that goes on from a player standpoint, but I would think from a coaching standpoint, you had to, the head coach had to bring in some new coaches like yourself.
Sure.
You guys had to blend together as well, and there's a learning process among you guys.
Sure. And then, add in the fact that, I stepped on campus June 2nd, and, so us growing together as a staff and allowing kind of our philosophies to trickle down to the team, that takes time and will continue to take time. We're kind of continuing to build those relationships, but fit was so great that it would allow us to have some success early on.
Now, obviously, the alignments that you set up are dictated on what kind of talent you have and what kind of players you have. And,
sure,
if you have a 150-pound nose guard, you're not going to, do certain things. But
it's all about getting the best 11 on the field in the best situation that they can possibly be in. And so if that takes changing some scheme, it takes changing some scheme. If it takes having to rely on a guy to free him up to make tackles and make plays, and that's what it's got to be. But
how's the relationship between a coordinator and a head coach? In other words, you say, man, we got to run this four-man front.
Sure.
The head coach goes, I think we better run a 3-man front. What happens there?
Well, Coach Mistretta has been fantastic about allowing me to kind of do my thing, and I can't thank him enough for bringing me on board, but also for allowing me to kind of give me the reins a little bit and allow me to run the defense the way that I wanted to. But also with him being a defensive-minded guy, I could always bounce ideas off of him and see, things that have worked for him in the past and those types of things. So it's really been a really good fit from that perspective.
The coming in as the first-year head coach had to be a lot of pressure on him, I would think, especially replacing a guy that's the winningest coach in the history of the school.
Without
of course,
doubt.
the only coach in the history of the school. He's here today. That's what
Sure.
I'm saying there. But I would think that coming in and getting to the playoffs, that had to be one goal, and you made that goal. I mean, that was incredible.
Big time. So, the beauty of it is that Coach Saya, having been the only coach in the school's history, had been able to build that program up over the course of several years. And that allowed us to have that foundation already to be able to build off of, and not necessarily, blow the whole thing up and start from scratch, but allowed us to come in. And I think that Coach Mastretta appreciates that as well, and that's we owe a lot of our success to that.
You're obviously building a resume as a coordinator at your young age and everything. That's good. I would assume that one day you'd like to be a head coach, and that's what you're doing, is building a background of success.
Sure. One of my big philosophies is do your job to the best of your ability, and some of those opportunities tend to present themselves, and that's how I ended up getting over here, and that's how I'm going to continue to do it. But it's just incredibly exciting to be a part of Dutchtown football, and the resume kind of takes care of itself as you pour yourself into what you're doing. So.
We're at the Tilted Kilt, and there's a lot of noise going on right now because the Saints are still playing in overtime, and we're taping the show, so you may hear some reaction in the background. Well, we want to congratulate you on a fine year, not a great year, but 7-5 certainly was a good year, and it's a good way to start off, and hope to have you back next year, and maybe get further along the road.
Sure.
With the playoffs.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us.
All right, we'll be back in just a moment after this for the Player of the Week. Brought to you by Galvez Seafood Company, and Sports Scene Magazine and TV would like to present this plaque to our Player of the Week, tied in Brandon Davies. Our plaque sponsor is Allstate Insurance. Tony Gudo, local agent. You're in good hands with Tony. You're in good hands with Allstate. Congratulations on being our Player of the Week.
Appreciate it. I'd like to shout out my coaches for putting me in the right position and for my teammates to help me out.
Well, I tell you what, you guys have really got an exciting year going right now. You've 1-0 in the playoffs. That's the most important thing. 7-4 overall. When people see this, you'll have already played number 1 West Monroe. Tell us about that preparation for the number 1 team.
Well, we just got to stay focused and keep the energy up at practice so we make sure that we don't come out lightly and come out to a fast start.
You're a tight end. What are some of the responsibilities? I'm assuming blocking would be number 1.
Yes, sir. I need to make sure I pick up my assignments so Noah and Draylon can do what they got to do.
On a pass pattern, is it pretty detailed, like you have to go 7 yards or 5 yards or 10 yards? Tell us what you run there on pass patterns.
Well, usually I try to get to the sticks, but it depends on how the defense lines up. It's kind of got some room to work with, but whatever can get me open.
You got to make a read, and the quarterback's got to make a read with you too, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, we want to congratulate you again. We're looking forward to a playoff victory, and hopefully you'll be back again next week.
Appreciate it.
All right, that's our Player of the Week, Brandon Davies, tight end.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the blue chip athlete to blue collar worker. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Saturday for lunch. Book our private room for your next party or meeting, or let us cater your next function. Locally owned and operated, we pride ourselves on homemade. If you haven't already, come check us out. Galvez Seafood, Highway 42 in Prairieville.
If it's glass you need, you can depend on Airline Glass and Upholstery, 724 Airline Highway, Gonzales. They've been taking care of your glass and upholstery needs since 1972. Give Stephen or Tanya a call today at 647-1040. Ascension Ready Mix supplies concrete for residential, commercial, and industrial clients. They're a locally owned company with locations in Prairieville and Baton Rouge. Ascension Ready Mix, phone 677-7177. Acadian Custom Cabinets creates a custom product to your specs. They're professionals that do incredible work that lasts for years to come. The owner is hands-on to give you exactly what you want. Acadian Custom Cabinets, phone 622-6337. Bruyette's Automotive Paint and Body are collision repair specialists. Their certified trained technicians offer state-of-the-art repair. They offer free estimates and all insurance claims are welcome. Bruyette's Automotive Paint and Body. BNC Electric in Gonzales and Baton Rouge has starters, alternators, generators, and batteries for autos, trucks, marine, tractors, forklifts, and heavy equipment in stock. BNC Electric, starter and alternator headquarters, serving Gonzales and Baton Rouge. Outmuscle the outdoors with a Kawasaki Brute Force 300 featuring sporty performance and agile handling, or try the Brute Force 750 with twin-engine digital fuel injection and automatic transmission, available at Lightspeed Motorsports. Tags and Titles is your one-stop shop for all your DMV and notary needs. Renew your driver's license, ID card, or handicap ID. If it has wheels and a title, they can handle it for you at Tags and Titles, located in Santa Ma. Got computer problems? Does your computer have a virus? Give us a shot at fixing your computer. Pico Computers has years of experience. Pico will have you up and running in no time. Call today, 647-8882. For sports, food, and fun, it's the Tilted Kilt in Gonzales. All sports fans will enjoy entree choices like beer-battered fish and chips, grilled pork chops, smothered chicken, and more. Check out the food and views at Tilted Kilt near Cabela's Parkway, and come be a part of the Sports Scene Live TV show Sundays at 3 p.m.
Well, we have a very special guest coming up right now with Benny Saya, former athletic director and head coach at Dutchtown, the winningest coach in Dutchtown history. Of course, he was the only one from Dutchtown until this year. Good to see you again.
Same here.
And what you been doing?
Just working and watching football.
You has it been I don't want to say difficult, but has it been kind of like each morning you get up, kind of like, man, I got to get to practice, or I got, how did you get over that?
I didn't really miss it until the playoffs started, and then it was kind of, I didn't miss it in August when it was 110 outside, But when you get into that time of the year, it's obviously a change.
You had to be a little bit excited to see your predecessor, Guy Mistretta, get the team into the playoffs again and get a victory in the first round.
I was. I enjoyed following those guys from afar and watching the successes they had, and I think Coach Mistretta did an outstanding job with that group, coming in.
Because all those guys were your former players.
Sure. And great kids, and I wanted to see them have success, and that coaching staff did a great job with them.
I want to get into something here that hopefully you can talk about, since you're out of it right now, and you can be honest about it and straightforward. The select, non-select issue, is that still going to be an issue? Is that going to be addressed again? I mean, what's the future of that situation?
Well, I've been out of the loop, so I don't know what's coming down the pipe from the LHSAA. I do know that the last rule that they changed was that to change a law now, it used to be a simple majority. Now I think it's 2/3. So to change something is going to be way more difficult now than it was before. Whether or not that groundswell to change it is there, I don't know. I haven't spoke to a lot of people since I got out.
When they changed it, did they change it for 2 years, 3 years? Was it a
no? It was a permanent deal.
Oh, it was a permanent deal when they changed it. Okay.
Yeah. Now, obviously, it can be undone just like any other law. The problem is now, it almost has to be, 2/3. To get 2/3 of the people to agree on anything is difficult. And
whether it's cloudy or sunny.
That's exactly right. So I don't know where that heads.
I'm looking at the playoff picture here, and I see a lot of the same schools that we see almost every year, like West Monroe, I know that they're a non-select team, but the rumor always has been that they
select a little bit.
Yeah, they do select.
Yeah. West Monroe is an outstanding program that is built in a town with one school, and all of the middle schools are controlled by the high school. He hires all the coaches that are usually former West Monroe players, and they run their system
all the way through
7th, 8th, 9th.
Kind of like John Curtis.
Right.
John Curtis starts out like 7th grade, and they run the same plays and the same.
Exactly. They're a machine. I mean, they do they take advantage of every loophole that's there. I'll say it like that.
And what started all this was the fact that the select schools were able to basically recruit. I mean, to get players to cross lines because of their being a private school.
Correct.
And I guess it was coaches that raised their hands up and said, hey, how can we compete with this?
Well, it's not so much that they could select. I never had a problem with a kid that went, just take a Catholic school, for example, K through 8 to a feeder school for a Catholic school. But when parents and boosters start showing up at Dutchtown Middle 8th grade game and talking to these kids about now coming to their school, That's where I had a
Basically
problem.
transferring.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you feel strongly enough that you're in a feeder program in a private school all the way through, then I don't care where you live at. But when you start plucking them out of other people's middle schools, then I think that that's an unfair advantage. And it got to the point where some schools were really, really good at it. You're probably talking about 10 schools across the state that caused all this to happen. And
they would offer almost like scholarships, wouldn't they? I mean,
all
give
kind
discounts.
of,
and things.
all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and it just the people, the high school coaches and the principals in the public schools just got so frustrated with it that it led to the action that we have now. I see it from both sides of the fence. It probably isn't what's best for high school athletics, but I also understand why it happened.
Would you get back into coaching again?
You never know. You know, I needed this year to recharge my batteries. I feel much better physically than I did when I got out. It's what people don't understand if you're not in it is just the day-to-day grind and the pressure of having to not just coach football, but run 20 other athletic programs. And I did it for 15 years at Dutchtown and 31 years total. And, you know, I needed to step back and I needed to meet my wife and do some things, you know. And
I remember you being at Woodlawn years ago. Yeah.
Right. And so I don't regret what I did. I do miss some aspects of it. And, you know, we'll see what happens. I don't know what tomorrow holds.
The being away from it, would things change much? I mean, you've only been out a year, but your record that you've got there, I would think is going to stand quite a long time because it would take 15 years for somebody to match it.
Right. Well, you know, I don't know that anything has changed as far as in a year. You know, it just takes a total commitment. You almost give up your life. You know, that's the thing. From mid-July to you get beat in the playoffs, that's your whole existence. And that's what's so bad or hard about the playoffs. When you lose, it's over like that. And, you know, you've been going 12, 14 hours a day, and then all of a sudden it's over. Yeah, it's over. And you go, what do I do now? And you take about 2 weeks, and then you start the process all over again. But, you know, there's nothing like Friday night and competing and being able to take a group of guys. And, you know, some of the best coaching jobs that I did wound up 5-5 or 6-4. You know, it doesn't always have to accumulate in a district championship. Getting the most out of what you have is what gives you the gratification.
Yeah, if you got a quarterback that can't throw and yet you can move the ball, that's things like that.
And you figure,
and I'm not picking on the quarterback, but all positions.
No, you figure other ways to get things done. That's what coaching is.
Yeah.
To keep beating your head against a brick wall, is not really bright.
Yeah, Don Shula told me one time that this guy could take his team and beat his players, and he could take my team and beat, you know, they could switch back and forth. Bum Phillips used to tell me that.
Probably a good definition of Don Shula, too. I mean, he was a phenomenal coach. But, you know, I think high school football is the fabric of our society. I know it's under attack. I know it's all the, you know, the concussion this and that and everything else, but I don't know anywhere else that young men learn the discipline and the teamwork and the lessons that you learn in football that prepare you for life.
And the emotions that go through those young men.
Oh, you know, you got to learn, you know, you got to learn how to lose and win, because that's what's going to happen for you the rest. You're not going to win every battle. And do you pout and throw a fit, or do you figure out a way to make sure that the next time you compete that maybe you don't lose? And those things, if we ever lose athletics, I think that'll be the end of our society as we know it. And so I think it's a very worthwhile endeavor for young men and women.
I really appreciate you coming by and visiting with us.
Hey, I appreciate y'all having me. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, the legend, of course, Benny Seiya. Be back in a moment. Our player of the week for Lutcher is Kobe Bourgeois, the junior quarterback. He's unavailable for an interview because he's at a state swim meet. But we will tell you that the Sports Scene magazine, along with our corporate sponsor, St. James Parish Hospital, will be presenting this plaque to Kobe a little bit later on. And our plaque sponsor is the Lutcher Family Clinic.
See Gonzalez Military for a big selection of kids' camo and cold weather gear. They carry boots, camo rain gear, rubber boots, headgear, belts, and more. Gonzalez Military on Burnside in Gonzalez.
St. James Nursery in Gramercy is headquarters for your landscaping needs. They have plants, shrubs, trees, as well as palm trees. See Patrick or Denise Wagaspack or call 869-5254. Roseland Funeral Services remind you to take time to enjoy life and celebrate with your loved ones. Roseland Funeral Services is a locally owned company in Lutcher that's been providing services to the river parishes for many years. Pot and Paddle Jambalaya Kitchen, with 3 locations offering daily lunch specials, is one of our newest sponsors. Pot and Paddle for dine-in, carry-out, and catering. A great place for lunch 7 days a week. Baton Rouge, Denham Springs, and here in Gonzales on Cabela's Parkway. Check them out online at potandpaddle.com.
When you need collision repair, you want your vehicle to look brand new. For a top-quality job, request Allen's Body Shop. Their certified technicians have been doing quality work since 1978. Kenny Allen, owner.
Living in the South, we're sometimes too busy to make it to the bank. And if on the go, like me, use the First American mobile app to check accounts, make transfers, deposits, and a whole lot more. First American, a banking tradition since 1910.
Brignac Physical Therapy in Gramercy specializes in physical, massage, pool therapy, sports rehab, vestibular rehab, and dry needling. Most insurance is accepted. Brignac Physical Therapy. Phone 869-0389.
Got computer problems? Does your computer have a virus? Give us a shot at fixing your computer. Pico Computers has years of experience. Pico will have you up and running in no time. Call today, 647-8882. Bring all your friends to the new Tilted Kilt Sports Pub in Gonzales. Enjoy their wings with signature sauces and rubs, as well as burgers like you've never had anywhere else. The Tilted Kilt, home of the Sports Scene Live TV show, Sundays at 3 p.m.
Welcome back to the special part of our show, Pete Pasqua, and our picks of the week. From Pete, last week 8-2, 75%, almost 76% for the year, 83-27, really outstanding. Well, here we go. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go with Barb at West Monroe.
I'm picking West Monroe. West Monroe's 12-0, Barb's 11-1. West Monroe beat Central. Dutchtown at the top seed. Barb's the number 9 seed. They beat Parkway, Destrehan. West Monroe's in a district with Ruston and Washita. Barb's in a district with Acadiana and Sulphur. West Monroe was a finalist last year. They lost 50-21 to Landry Walker. Barb was a regionalist. They lost 16-6 to Santa Mar. So, I mean, and then, of course, West Monroe was the one that knocked out Santa Mar last year, but I'm picking West Monroe. That's interesting with, we got Zachary and Airline is the next game in Acadiana, Live Oak, and Covington and Hahnville.
All right, how about Catholic at Evangel?
That's in Division 1. I'm picking Evangel. They beat Rummel. They come out of Airline, Parkway, Houghton, and Bird. They were the champion last year, 38-6 over Scotlandville. Catholic beat Shaw and St. Aug. They got EA, Santa Mar, and Dutchtown in the district. They lost in the quarters to Brother Martin last year. The winner played John Curtis and Scotlandville, Evangel.
Okay, these are both number 1 seeds. Now you've got an interesting one with a 14 against an 11, Cecilia and Rain.
Okay, there's some upsets here. Cecilia upset DeRidder, 41-8. They upset Benton, number 3 seed, 23-21. They come out of the district with Broke Ridge and St. Martinville. Ever since they lost to EA, they on an 8-game winning streak. They lost their first 4 games of the year. They're 8-4. Rain is 9-2. They beat Helen Cox, and then they upset Leesville. You know, I'm picking Cecilia because that's my mama's name.
Okay, St. Thomas More at De La Salle.
Okay, that's Division 2. I'm picking De La Salle. They had a bye. They beat Hannon. They're in the same district with St. Charles, St. James, and DeVille. Last year they lost in the semis to Parkview. And St. Thomas More was the state champion last year. They beat Parkview 54-29. They just come off a 31-29 win over Parkview after they beat St. Michael. But De La Salle is...
they're a powerhouse.
Yeah, and then the winner plays St. Charles and U High. So that's going to be interesting. St. Charles is still in there.
Let's go to 3A now, Kaplan and St. James.
I'm picking St. James. St. James got lost in the first round last year to Peabody, but they got state championships in 1959, 1960, 1965, 1979. They made it to the Dome in 2008, lost to John Curtis, and then they made back to the Dome and lost to Lutcher. But they knocked off Marksville 39-0, and Madison Prep 50-0. Coach Valdez, Kaplan, they made it all the way to Simmons last year and lost to A-Mead. They come out of the same district with ERAF and Patterson. Of course, St. James is with St. Charles and DeVille, but they knocked off Kip Renaissance and Iota, but St. James. I'm picking St. James 9-3. Both of them are 9-3.
Go college football now, and here's the big one, Alabama and Auburn.
It's the Iron Bowl. It's pretty simple here. Alabama beat LSU. Auburn lost to them, so I'm thinking Alabama's going to beat the snot out of Auburn. I think that's your alma mater, but yeah.
Texas A&M and LSU.
LSU number 19. They're coming off a 30-10 win over Tennessee at Knoxville in the checkered end zone. 8-3. We got Texas A&M 7-4 coming off a 31-24 win over Ole Miss. Thought people, you got the coaches. Tennessee got rid of their coach. Another coach lost his job. A lot of people were talking about Kevin Sumlin and his job being on the hot seat. I don't know. They finished 7-5. He might keep his job, but LSU's going to win. They hadn't lost to Texas A&M since Texas A&M come into the SEC, so I'm picking LSU to win that game.
Running a little short on time here. Let's go to the NFL.
Saints and the Rams. Saints just won 8-2. Rams, I think they lost. They were losing. I think they lost 7-3. It's an old NFC West game when the teams used to be in the NFC West. Going to Los Angeles. Been a while. Last year was the first year that they got. We got Todd Gurley versus Mark Ingram. I like Mark Ingram right now. He's he's leading the league in rushing, and then you got Jared Goff and Drew Brees. I mean, how can you go against Drew Brees? I'm picking the Saints. They're going to keep winning.
Welcome to St. James, ready to announce our player of the week. And St. James Parish Hospital, our corporate sponsor, would like to present this plaque from Sports Scene Magazine and TV to DeMarcus Williams, the quarterback. And we'll be talking to him in just a moment. Our plaque sponsor is Poche Medical Clinic. We want to thank you for being with us, and congratulations on being our player of the week.
Thank you, sir.
Well, let me ask you about how it's been for you this year. I mean, you've been banged up. You've been in and out of that lineup. It's good to get back in there, right?
Yeah, I really had to be mental tough because it seems like everything was just going bad. And so I would like to thank all my teammates, my coaches, because through it all, they still kept believing in me and still had faith in me.
And you're back in there now, and it's playoff time. This is an exciting time of the year.
Yeah, because last year it really left a bad taste in our mouth. We left our first round, and now we're the fourth seed. We really think we have a great shot at winning it.
You guys are playing very well right now, and your backup played well for you too.
Yeah, Shamar, he was something kind of how Lowell was to me, and it's kind of similar because me and Lowell always laugh about it, but I will always be there for him, even the bad and good times, to help Shamar.
You guys, you got a good leadership from you and from your other teammates and so on. Tell us about how this team is going from the beginning of the year to now.
Well, now it's we have a brotherhood because we have a lot going on within our team, like family members passing and all type of stuff going on, and we really came together as one.
You can hear the players behind us are getting all excited, getting out there ready to practice again. I know you want to get back out there, so congratulations once again on being our player of the week.
Thank you, sir.
And Marcus Williams. That wraps up this edition of Sports Scene Live from the Tilted Kilt. Be with us next week. We tape at 3 o'clock on Sundays, and we're going to have another exciting show for you as we head toward the final playoffs here, heading toward the Superdome.